General population, collective energy. I want to talk about here just a second this retrograde happening with Pluto in Capricorn. So for many of you, you may have noticed areas of your life that felt kind of like they've been flip-flopped, turned upside down. For others, and for other areas of your life, you're recognizing good things coming back to you. You're recognizing perhaps other people that you've been close to receiving bad and negative karma, and therefore on the other side, positive karma. So why is this all a thing? Well, right now we have been going through this retrograde, and Pluto rules Mars, and it also rules you Scorps. And so because of this is our passions. When something is retrograde, what that means is it's the energy of going backwards. Many of you could be in the recent months really feeling yourself drift back in memory, right? A lot of reflections happening. And therefore, what we know about our thoughts is they surface into reality. And so we're seeing things. We're seeing things in a different way. We're seeing things in a different light. And in a lot of ways for people, we're seeing things no longer how we wanted to see things, but how they actually are. And so family matters, okay? Maybe people in your life that you work with. Maybe this is having to do, because Capricorn is all about, it's an earth energy, but it also has to do with our finances, okay? If you're going to put Pluto in there, what's going to happen? Well, it's the underworld. So we're seeing the darker side of things. And these are the things that, this is why maybe for many of us, unresolved issues continue to come back to surface. Okay, maybe even some people have returned to our life. For others of you, you could be realizing that you're going down memory lane, and what you thought had healed because you walked away from it, you're realizing like, oh, I guess that's not fully healed. And that's also why maybe I feel triggered by this situation or by this situation, right? I guess that's something within me that I need to work on. And so we're realizing this. And so these are the things that are happening and coming to surface with Pluto retrograde in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So Mars is also, okay, because it's one of Pluto rules, it rules is Mars. Okay, and Mars is that god of war. So many of you could be facing really internal conflict. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words. And so maybe many of you are feeling like that, right? Working to figure out just the right words, not just to yourself, but to others. For many of you, maybe you're working to figure out how you talk to yourself, okay? Because you're seeing that if you talk negatively to yourself, this can perpetuate cycles that bring up these triggers in different situations, different day, different people, same situation. You get what I'm saying? So this is that energy. This is that energy that we're having. We've recognized where we've wanted a successful outcome. And now if we haven't gotten that, we're seeing why. Okay. If we have put effort into something and maybe it didn't work out, we're also, we're also now seeing why it didn't work out, okay? And for many of us, we're realizing that may have been a blessing. So I'm just going to drop some cards really fast, okay, for the collective angels just for today. Yeah, the sun in reverse, Leo energy, and the devil upright. At the bottom of the deck is the 9 of Cups, emotionally taking our power back. Maybe you have felt really drained by people or by situations in your life or from situations in your life that maybe you're realizing, look at this in this card specific. It's like this devil is holding a string, puppeteering these two energies. And so look at this. That has been a drain. Maybe you're realizing somebody in your life that has done that. And as they do it, right, it's just like they play it off so well. Just nonchalant, I'm going to play this instrument while I do this in the darker side of things. Meanwhile, energetically robbing you of your emotions and your light. And so this is what's happening right now. The 9 of Cups talks about gaining emotional intelligence, working on letting go of codependent energy. Okay, and so there's could be turning of your back. Okay, maybe you're realizing the stories of your life, these cups right there, it's almost like a triangle shape, so it's like you're seeing now the progression of your life and recognizing the dark and the light and where you no longer want to be, and so you're turning away from it in order to face something better for you. Okay, that felt a little winded. King of Cups, this is in reverse. So not all of this is happening for everybody, right? That they can actually see. And so, because we're all on our own journeys, not everybody sees everything at the path that we do. However, there's a rooted, right? There's something rooted. And so if you're wondering, maybe, how can that person not see how hurtful they are? Or how can that person not see how good they have it, right? I'm just all covering the bases here. How can that person not see that, what we all see type thing? Or, how can that person just really not have emotions? And so this is this energy right now where that recognition that not everybody wants to grow. Sometimes it's easier to turn away from a situation or or somebody that makes you feel or dive deep into, another way to look at it, the negative energies that you put out, or so, and I'm not saying you personally, just these are in general what astrologically is happening right now. We also have, and I wasn't going to talk about other retrogrades right now, but there are other retrogrades occurring, and one of those is Chiron, and it's been in Aries for a very long time, and that's the wounded healer. So this is our growth. This is how we're healing and how we're not healing. And so you put that in Aries, and it's like that you could find yourself really angry over a situation. Maybe you're that type of person that never used to get angry, and now you're realizing how angry certain situations make you, right? So what's happening here is life in general is shifting, okay, for our world. It's not been sustainable how it's going. And so the old must be left behind in order to grow something new. And so say there's that situation, right? And I'm just going to throw this out there because it's another way to look at things is like, you ever see those people, those serial daters or whatever, like, oh, before I step into say I just broke up with somebody and now I'm going to just step right into another connection, right? And they don't stop and actually like in between connections, and maybe it's not even romantic, but just friendships or jobs or whatever, they don't stop in between to take time to really heal and nurture what needed to be nurtured for healing in between connections. And so that perpetuates and that continues into the next situation. And so there is, this benefit to seeing the dark, not being in the dark, and therefore sitting in your thoughts and realizing the negative energies, because that's growing pains, right? Our bodies can hurt, or we feel pain because it's something within us, our body's way of telling us that something's unhealed within us. And so with the King of Cups in reverse, this talks about our emotions. It talks about not feeling felt. It talks about being not seen emotionally, right? It talks about we're dealing with somebody who lacks emotional intelligence, or therefore emotional growth. Maybe they look like an adult, but there's this like internal, like that that's not where they are emotionally, right? It's like the stunted growth of a child, or wherever they started getting hurt, right? That keeps them from moving forward. Maybe I'm just going on too long about this. What I will say is this is happening and you're not alone. So if you feel off and on in this hermit mode, if you feel off and on like you're not feeling heard, or if you realize that connections are slowly falling away and maybe you don't even know why, right? And it's just like, okay, well, that's happening and it's neither here nor there, but it's strange, right? Like You're outgrowing certain situations or being led in a different direction in life. And so these are the things that these retrogrades are showing us. A shift of perspective. How do I feel in certain situations where maybe sometimes I feel really vibrant and other times I feel really drained? And so these are the things that we're realizing, right? How do I want to, and we're asking ourselves, like, how do I want to show up more for myself spiritually? How do I want to show up more for myself financially? What do I need to do in order to get there? Okay. So, and it's not selfish. It's like, one of the things that continues to happen is it's easier sometimes to avoid any pain, right? With the devil. Sometimes that comfort that we feel in that pain, because we're so used to feeling that pain, is what we've made home. And that's actually, what this is happening here is like we're seeing maybe those energy vampires, or we're seeing certain situations. Maybe we've held on, maybe it's as simple as holding on to some type of hope that we see the best in somebody. And so we stay in that connection one way or another, just hoping that they'll see in themselves the goodness that we see in them, right? And so these are the things that are happening. And I felt like that's a little scattered, but maybe that's obviously that's how it's supposed to have come out, but issues are coming up for people, all right? We're putting to rest certain situations that drain us. We're putting to rest certain situations that we've outgrown. And that's okay to take your power back, to stand in interdependence versus codependence. I'm going to leave it there.